Hey guys, this is Randall. I know I haven't done a video in a while, but life happens. So I'm here to review Disciples' newest album, Oh God Save Us All. This came out last year, I know, but I didn't make the time to review it, so I'm reviewing it now. This album has 11 tracks. It originally had 12, but a couple months before it came out, they pulled one of the songs off of it. I don't remember what the song was called, and I don't know why they pulled it, but anyways. I was really curious to listen to this album when it came out because, I was curious if they were going to try to come back after their last two failures of albums, if you know what I mean. Southern Hospitality and Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. And I actually, after, first listening to the album and, first glance, I actually did think they tried to come back to their, the sound they had on Scars Remain or something like that. But I recently realized that they didn't try to do that. What they tried to do, this album is the result of Disciple trying to please all of their fans. And if you don't understand that, let's look at Disciple's past three albums. They were Scars Remain. Then after that, for some reason, they decided to go really crazy, and they made Southern Hospitality. And it ticked a whole lot of Disciple fans off, and it made a whole lot of people who like Southern music to jump on the Disciple bandwagon. So then the next album, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, was thankfully rock, but the metal fan base was mostly cut short again because most of the album was just an appeal to mainstream Christian rock, stuff like Skillet and stuff. So it made even more different people hop onto the Disciple bandwagon who liked mainstream Christian rock like Skillet. So we have these three groups of fans now, and Disciple has decided to make an album to please all of them. So this is that album. It's got elements from all three of the last albums in it. For example, the guitars sometimes sounds like something like right out of Southern Hospitality. And while we're talking about the guitars, I just want to say they weren't very good at all. There was no point in the album when I was actually trying to pay attention to them where I was impressed at all. They weren't very good. And the drums aren't even worth talking about. It's pretty much the same story with the drums, but a little bit worse. Vocally, Kevin has gone a little bit downhill over the years since Scars Remain. His screams aren't as powerful, and his cleans aren't in their tip-top shape. And I'm not even going to try to pick a favorite song off of this album because honestly, there aren't really any songs on here that I really like listening to. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like most of them. Most of them are good, but there aren't any that just make me want to press the rewind button when it gets done. The worst song on the album, definitely to me, this is going to be a little bit controversial because what I said before about the fan base. But my least favorite song off of this album is Draw the Line. I just think that song is terrible. It sounds like one of those annoying mainstream Christian songs that comes on the radio all the time, and when it comes on, you just want to punch the radio. That is that song. This is that song, and I can actually testify to that because I heard it on the radio one time. But yeah, it's a really disappointing song. I really was really disappointed in Disciple when I heard that song. And to think, that was like the first single they released from the album. The One, I just wanted to make this comment, but The One is a great song, but in the chorus, I don't know what they tried to do here, but it sounded like they tried to do this little gang vocal thing. And if they try to do gang vocals, if that's what they tried to attempt at doing, it sounds horrible. I mean, I wasn't even sure if it was gang vocals when I first heard it. I was like, okay, that's either gang vocals or that's just them doing something weird. It's just really bad gang vocals if that's what they were trying to do. So, and a side note, if you want to hear some really good gang vocals, you should check out Isolate Dying's Greater Foundation if you haven't already. Really good use of gang vocals on that song. So yeah, overall, even though Disciple tried to please everybody with this album, and it was an improvement from the last two disasters, It's really just the first step of recovery. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars. It was kind of enjoyable to listen to, but it's not something I listen to all the time. So honestly, I think that if they had made this album right after Scars Remain instead of making Southern Hospitality, it would have been much, much better. If Southern Hospitality and Horseshoes and Hand Grenades would have never happened, and this album came out instead, much better. But anyways, tell me what you think about this album in the comments below. That's pretty much it for this review. Be sure to rate, subscribe. Until next time, you guys just keep it metal.